How you going? It's Richard Mark to turn to you from Getting Raw, and today we're here with Edwina Griffen from the Fit Brands. Everything Fit. She's fit and she's got a name around Fit Brands. So really interesting because you've been in the industry for a while, and I've seen your brand in the eastern suburbs of Sydney. You have Fit Women, Fit Men, and I saw your website the other day, and we've got Fit Executive, Fit Mums, Fit Bubs, Fit Everything, right?
Yeah.
Fit Everything. So I'm really intrigued about that brand and how that came about, and what you're doing now. Tell me about yourself and how long you've been involved in the industry for.
Okay, yeah. Well, I've been in the industry for about 17 years, a bit over actually.
Really?
Yeah, so I set up my business at 21.
Okay.
And set up a little studio specialising in women. And
was that in Sydney still?
That was in Sydney.
Same one?
Yeah. Well, not the same studio.
But same brand,
yeah. Same brand. So that was a Fit Women brand, was my first brand.
Okay.
Then branched into Fit Mum, Fit Men, then Adventure Women, Adventure Men.
Fit Adventure Men or Adventure Women, Adventure Men?
Adventure Women, Adventure Men.
Okay, cool.
And then Sanctuary of Light. And the Real Body Management is more speaking brand. It's the umbrella company for all. And then we're doing Fit Space now. So
what's Fit Space?
Fit Space is an online program. So that's pretty well incorporating everything my past 17 years for me. You know, it's that mind body where I'm doing online videos of exercises, yoga, nutrition, mind programming.
And you showed me some of the videos. We just saw some of the videos. And you flipped them to me on the videos, and you've got like hundreds there.
Yeah,
you've done a lot of work. It's not just a matter of you've got to set a Fit Space up and throw a few videos there. You really put a lot of effort. They're edited professionally. They're really done professionally, and that's what I think that's a massive IP in your intellectual property is right there, which I think is fantastic. So tell me a bit more about. Let's just take it back a step because we're pushing it a bit further. I want to take it back. So you had your studios, you had your Fit Men, your Fit Women, and they were were they in the same place?
Yeah, different locations. And I brought it into a bigger space where I brought in all the areas.
So they're in the same different places down the road from each other, weren't they?
Yeah.
So what you do the AM sessions for women and do the PMs for men? Is that how it works?
Yeah, we had some going on at the same time as well, different locations. And then there was the main location that was a bigger location for yoga and Pilates and acupuncture and massage. So that enabled us to have a lot going on in the same space. So there was the main section, and then we had a smaller kind of PT session. Okay. Yeah. So.
And that's where you're aligning yourself now with a lot of women, 30 to 55 plus, wellness.
Yeah.
Yoga, Pilates. Is that
right? It's very much. I mean, that has been my brand always, a holistic approach, and the Fit Women, Fit Mum brands have been all the way through. But I think. Doing a bit more writing and stuff with women's health on that pregnancy, and I've just relaunched the new Fit Mum DVD, which I originally filmed about 10 years ago. I've just redone that. And I'm speaking...
Blast from the past.
Yeah, come back around and, you look back and you cringe. I was like, I have to redo that. So, and then obviously travel with, Women's Global Change Conference and stuff. So there's a lot, that's a lot of my experiences being with women, so...
And now you put some of your time into actually... coaching or mentoring, I should say, fitness industry and non-fitness industry people on branding.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you obviously take your brand very seriously.
Yeah, well, I do. I think that was one of the things we were just discussing with the studio, that I decided to close the studio earlier this year because I noticed a change in the industry and what my clients were wanting, which is where I've put all my energy into the online. And one of the things that people like, initially I was weighing up whether to sell it or whether to franchise it or what to do, and I decided not to sell it for the reason that I wanted my brands. It's sort of, you spend that many years building the brands and you've got a reputation, and one of the main things, with all my branding is it's kind of maintaining the equity of the brands and just diversifying and changing with the times, and that's kind of been one of the things that the reason that I've established the different brands is things change, and you see the signals from your clients and you see ahead. When I did women back 17 years ago, specialising in women, it was quite unusual. People were like, why are you specialising in women? And now it's kind of the norm, and to me, it's very much about just seeing those indicators a little bit ahead of everyone else, hopefully.
Yep.
And, that's why I started the online thing. As I said to you, it's been 12 to 15 months, actually, probably like 18.
It's always the word online. They say, it's easy, we're doing it in 3 months. 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. Have we got that website up yet?
Yeah. Original plan was last Christmas, now we're looking for this Christmas.
Okay, this Christmas.
Yeah.
Things start in January anyway, so don't worry.
Yeah, new year and a fresh start. But yeah, so it takes a lot longer than you think when it's totally new. But exciting.
It is exciting. The online space is very exciting. I'm always interested in the online space, and I'm always interested in playing in the online space because I believe that's really the way that we're going to go as a culture. And people are getting busier, so it's always how to have people access online. So that's important. Tell me, when you did the switch to your online, you're not an IT background.
No.
Okay.
Definitely.
So you're starting an online business without an IT background. So I want to commend you for that for a start. And I think that's awesome because it's not about can you upload a video to YouTube. It's about the marketing and what you want to deliver, and then you can find the experts to do that. Obviously, you've done very successfully. So what do you mean some mistakes in that? Because I think at the moment there's a lot of people trying to delve in that, and they're going to go, oh yeah, I'm going to get into the online space. I'm going to get my Facebook going, and just the simple stuff like that. And they're really struggling. What is, I guess, 2 online mistakes that you've made getting this 12 to 15 month process of your fit online space happening? What are some big mistakes and costly mistakes that you've done?
I think for me, which is often my mistake in business, one of my big lessons has been to try and do too much.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I think, simple as that sounds, so that initially I kind of, I created it into this huge project where, it's great now that it's not finished. But I looking back, I'm kind of like, what I probably could have got it out earlier. Just getting very clear on the intentions of what you had. And it did shift and evolve throughout that, but I have probably spent a little more than I had to based on that. And just really, as you say, familiarising yourself with the market. I mean, that's the lesson that I've learned in business and a couple of other things that I did with the Sanctuary of Light that I set up. Lost a bit of money with that one because I went into an industry that I didn't know that well, the spiritual kind of field, and didn't research the market well enough, and sort of launched on these great visions, and yet hadn't really connected with the right people, and had some expensive mistakes. So I think when I went into this venture, I had learnt that lesson. So I like to think there certainly hasn't been any major ones this time, but that was a big lesson that I brought to this project. Was very much I did a lot of research. I very much checked out the people that I was working with and got good referrals.
Because you had problems in the other business. That you were doing.
So that lesson came in when I was, like you're saying, because I don't know IT, it was very much...
Can you tell me an example of what happened?
With that, look, I brought these people out from, there's no need to mention them, from overseas to come and do... International team on healing, shamanic work, and so it was a Sanctuary of Light, was very much my spiritual community group, and I was running workshops, events with that, so I flew them all out, and there was a lot of promises made, and I was a little bit naive really, I think, because in business I broke some of my own business rules in that, and that was a big lesson, don't ever bend the rules. I think I kind of allowed certain flexibility because I didn't know the market. They're spiritual, so, and that's certainly not to put spiritual people down because it's a beautiful community, but I broke those rules because I was like, okay, they operate slightly differently, so maybe I should just not worry about that. They don't operate a business the way everyone else does, so I'll allow that. They haven't actually got back to me. So basically they had a lot of promises that were made on the contacts they had here, their intentions and how they were going to run things, and when they got here they just didn't honour that. They didn't have those contacts.
And I'm assuming you said you didn't have contracts in place.
Yeah.
You was wishy-washy emails and that sort of stuff.
So sent off contracts, they weren't signed.
The theory is have these signed contracts before you pay people to get on a flight and come in.
Yeah.
And
fairly basic mistake.
Well, basic, but I think the basic mistakes are everybody, stuffs up. So the failure here is get airtight stuff happening before you go into agreements with partners and JV partners and
then the other lesson with that was that my client base, I realised they were coming for me and my staff, and I brought in a crew of people who they didn't know, who they didn't have, they hadn't established a relationship with them yet. So that was an important lesson as well. To if you're branching into a different area, for me, you can't assume that the market's going to want it with someone totally different. Because I think when I'd done the Fit Women and Fit Mum and Fit Men and Venture, that all worked perfectly because I had the same team operating with it. Yeah. When I brought outsiders in, my vision was like, it was really clear it was all going to work. Yeah. But I was bringing in different teams, so the energy dynamic was different, and my client base didn't necessarily resonate with that totally different group of professionals.
But I think now you're knowing where you're going, and now it's just the next phase to actually get your onlines working and getting that moving along nicely. So I guess for the industry as a whole, what are they going to sort of see with you in the next couple of years? Like, where are they going to be seeing you doing? What are they going to be seeing you doing?
Yeah.
Besides, I mean, obviously the online space is huge for you.
Yeah, definitely the online space. I'll continue on the mind-body stuff, but I'm certainly running some events in Australia and overseas, obviously. But very much just trying to get it out to the bigger community for me now. So that's part of the reason of the online, was to get it to the broader community and connect with more people in the industry, and just to run some group events all together, and really bring it all together, that holistic approach of, mind, body, and I'm very much about that, about that holistic approach and bringing the different industries together and having some great holistic events where we can really share some of that knowledge of, the mind and body and professional and more alternative, and bring it all into some great
And are you
spaces.
targeting for consumers, or you're actually targeting for the public, the industry to do your...
Well, I think the industry also, with my brand, the Fit Women, Fit Mum brand, I'm going to be an accreditation program next year for that. Yeah, excellent. So that's in the women's space, and very much just in the systems and the stuff that I've learnt, so that some people don't make some of the other mistakes. We're still running those brands as mobile trainers. So.
Oh, you are.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of diversity.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of diversity going on. There's a lot of different buckets going on. So if one fails, the other one can get up there. And I think that's sometimes what fitness industry is about. It's about juggling act. It's about finding which one, hopefully fast, the other one works and which one doesn't.
Yes.
But I am really looking forward to seeing your online stuff happening, and it's coming soon.
Yeah.
Watch the space
2012
soon.
it'll be there.
Very soon. What's the site anyway? What's the website?
Fitspace.com.au.
Fitspace.com.au. So watch that space, and sort of see where that's going in. Okay, what's the biggest success tip now? So we did the failure tip is having airtight contracts. What's your biggest, I guess, tip of advice for people in the industry?
Yeah, I think when I've spoken to people before, a lot of people have got some great visions, and which never think that you can't do it is one tip. Like, anything's possible. And whether that's a tip or a motivation, to me, it's just
you've experienced that, yeah?
Yeah, there's always moments of doubt, and I think that often people, you see people who are getting the breaks, and everyone who gets the breaks, they've usually had quite a few little hiccups on the way. It's never smooth, It's that kind of ride to getting that break. You usually have 5 or 6 drops, or or who knows how many on the way through. And I think it's really nice to hear. I always like hearing from other people when they're getting their breaks. You know what, I've been through what you went through. I've had a few hiccups. I didn't get there. You just got to keep strong and clear on what you want. And just being very clear on intentions, and having little goals and little winning posts on the way through. There will be hiccups up and down, but I think you just got to be real.
Prepared for the hiccups.
Yeah, prepare for the hiccups, and know that everyone who makes it.
I think that's normal.
Yeah,
I think this is normal in running a business.
Yes.
It's the hiccups and making sure that you push past that. But I think you said have a strong and clear vision and goal and reason why you're doing it.
Yeah.
So you don't go off tangent, off track.
And to keep accountable. And this is the thing, and having mentors for me has been hugely important.
And you've had a few mentors along the way?
Yeah, absolutely. Michelle Woods would be my closest mentor, who's been through my whole business growth from when I was still a student.
And some of your mentors, we'll go off side topic here, because is mentors for you something you actually have to pay, or is it just like a close colleague, friend, or what is it to you, a mentor when people say
it's funny, because I've had a lot of mentors, as you say, and they're different. There are different mentors. So there are some that I pay, and there are others who I've had some amazing clients who have been mentors in their own way, where you can get amazing tips from people in a conversation. Yeah. And a lot of the great advice I've had has literally been in those conversations that are off the cuff, here, there, and everywhere. And sometimes it's other people that inspire you that are mentors in that way, but often the best tips I've had have just been that little casual conversation, in a session or on a bus, or it's amazing some of the stuff that you just suddenly you hear it at the right time and it just clicks.
Cool. Well, I really look forward to seeing your space and what grows off it. And if you're living in Sydney and suburbs, I'm sure you would have seen the fit women, fit men. The branding is really nicely done. Thanks. And I'm sure there's big things next year with the fit space stuff.
Yeah.
So check it out. Where can people find you on Facebook, Twitter? Where do you hang around?
Yeah, Facebook.
You're on Facebook. Okay, so find her on Facebook, chat to her, because that's what it's about. The industry, it's about the community and having a chat and seeing if you can have spark up those conversations that might be your nugget or mind, and you might have a tip to share. And more joint ventures. Everybody joint ventures. We like joint ventures.
Okay.
All right, thanks a lot.
Great, thank you.
Cheers.